different languages. Welcome back to Wilde On, where we get spiritual on Saturdays. This isn't some holy roller coming to Jesus thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just refuse to believe that's all there is. There is more than one way to heal yourself and find your purpose. Trust me, I'm living it. Meet my friend Michelle Sanctuary, an intuitive medium who guided me through the creation of Wilde On, returning to professional wrestling after a 10-year hiatus, a failed marriage, and a soul-crushing pandemic. So let's say Michelle has had her work cut out for her. Intuitive mediums are sensitive to influences or forces of a non-physical nature. Michelle and others like her tap into those forces and connect the outside metaphysical world with ours. Michelle uses tarot cards as her means of divination and explanation. Other mediums use tea leaves, ancestors, or candles. Each medium has a mother tongue, and for Michelle, that is tarot cards. Have you done any podcasts before?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
It's funny because I started this podcast to basically focus on the intimate side of female wrestlers, and a lot of them were like my girlfriends and just these really amazing women that were kind of only seen one-sided. And then one of my best girlfriends, she's been on a spiritual journey and is a medium and has been doing it for 10 years. And then I started to really, really embrace the spiritual journey. So now I'm having all these it's a wrestling spiritual show, but all the spiritual people I have, it's like their first podcast. So it's really exciting that I can do that.
Well, I know. I see your thing. It's all wrestlers. And I'm like, oh. I don't know if I could pull that off. But.
Absolutely you can.
So that's how you became spiritually awake.
Yeah, well, so I was always attracted to, let's call them like oddities from a young child. Like I was really into like fairies, and I was very attracted to the cult and witchcraft. And I always knew I was a little bit different. I was highly sensitive, but I saw it as a weakness. And the sensitivity in me was never really embraced by the way I was raised. And as you can see by my career choice, it took me a long time to embrace the feminine and the masculine because I'm a professional wrestling firefighter, mom, divorced twice. So I think my spiritual journey started young, but was masked for many years to try to be this person I thought I was supposed to be. And then after divorce number 2, I was like, I hit rock bottom in a lot of ways. And I reached out to my girlfriend, Chrissy Vane, was my number one spiritual kind of guider. She booped me on the head, we say. And it opened me up to this new world about myself. And I've been in therapy for 10 years, and that has its place, of course. But I feel like you do... spirituality, there's no bullshit. It's like seeing through you, seeing your wounds and being like, okay, sweet, here's your wounds. Now I'm going to stick my hands in them and then we're going to talk about it.
And that's, you know what? People usually hit rock bottom before they become spiritually, and I mean by spiritually awake, I mean it's right in your face and let's deal with it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All the time.
So that's my question for you. How did your journey begin? You okay?
Out there.
That's okay. I was going to say, how did this begin for you? How did your spiritual journey begin?
Yeah, so like you, all my life. So actually since I'm going to say I was 4. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of astral travel?
What is it? Sorry?
Astral travel?
Enlighten me. I feel like I have, but I can't say I'm wise enough.
Okay. So it's when we fall asleep, so our bodies are asleep, right? And they say every night your soul leaves your body, but you're not consciously aware of it. So when I was a child, this is the first spiritual thing. Not that when I was 4, I was like, that is so spiritual, right?
Yeah.
But I'm coming out of my body, I was going, it's usually always around the house. I haven't gone further than outside my house, We do in our dreams when we're consciously aware.
Right.
Which is your dreams is the fifth dimension, right? So I think
our internets are cutting in and out. Sorry.
Oh, is it?
I apologize. I think our internets are cutting in and out, but hopefully it will sort itself out. Sorry. So you are coming in and out of your body?
just like a regular conversation, right?
Just like the internet. No, it's totally normal for me. I'm just like, oh, tell me more. I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I know it kind of freezes there, right?
Yeah.
So I was moving around my house, and I think I was freaked out because I was controlling where I was going, but I was like, where's my mom? Where's my dad? You know what I mean? You're looking around, like, when you wake up as like a child in the middle of the night, and you're like, and I couldn't, everything was there, but they weren't there. It's because you're in a different realm.
Right.
So you're in the spiritual realm, so you're not seeing the actual physical. So I was moving around the house everywhere, and I couldn't find them. And then I seen, by my bed, there was like this, I think it was evil, because it was dark, and it was a plant, and it was moving like this.
Oh. And
for some reason, I was told, just don't step on that, right? So I know, so creepy. So that happened. That was the first thing that happened, and I still remember that to this day. So today, I can still do the same thing in my house, but you could do it too.
Interesting. Yeah, I have heard that. Like, it's a different level of awareness. And I think that's something that I realized later in life, that these vivid dreams I always associated with being like a hyperactive child, having anxiety. That's what your parents tell you. It's totally like a reasonable explanation.
Conditioning.
Yeah. And now that I've really been on this journey for about a year, but just in even the last few months, I realized I really need to keep a dream journal beside my bed, because there's so much information in my dreams that, are premonitions, are, and it's not even about me. It's about people I know. It's people I've never met, but that it's like, obviously you're so much more honed in, and I feel like I'm still very much like everything's turning on. So I'm still very much overwhelmed by everything.
I know. Isn't it fun? So have you always had vivid dreams?
Always, to the point where I can replay it from beginning to end. But here's the scary thing. I think up until maybe probably even when I had my son, all my dreams were always nightmares. Or what I perceived as nightmares, because it wasn't like riding clouds and eating ice cream cones. It was, now I actually think it was glimpses from my previous lives.
And
a lot of happens. Working in the medical.
And
sorry, I think we're.
I know it froze out.
But and that's something else I've really come into, is the fact that a lot of my anger and a lot of my pain, for as much therapy and like healing work and like I'm doing this course called Rising Woman, which is like to heal the relationship with yourself. I really had this aha moment where I'm like, wait a second, this isn't all my pain. This isn't all my anger. Like, I didn't bring all of this here. I really think there's more to it. So what are you a big believer in we've had previous lives in this meat suit?
Oh, 1,000,000%. Like, it's like when you ever come across somebody and you connect immediately, like, you're like, why is it so comfortable?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why do I feel so comfortable, like, just back and forth, and you already know the person without them even telling you anything, and they know you, and you're like, ooh, that's kind of creepy. Like, it's kind of like you can see through each other's soul.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't want to do this just because it's, and I don't want to do this just because it's my podcast, but like the second you popped on, I was like, oh, we're going to be friends. We're probably.
Same. I was like, oh, she could actually. And by the way, you can read lips pretty good, eh? I was like, is she actually hearing me? Or?
I totally. But you know what? These are the things that I'm not conscientious of. Where I'm like, I knew I didn't need you to speak. Like I heard you, and I should realize that that's not normal. Excuse me. But I should tell all our listeners how our relationships developed. I didn't just pluck you out of the air. I kind of did. Instagram. I plucked you out of Instagram.
Kind of up in the air, you know. We're floating.
Yeah.
You know.
But I guess like for all the things that I look up on Instagram, your ads for one of your readings came up, and I don't know why, but I chose you, and I was like, I would like a reading. And
that is total synchronicity.
Absolutely. And your reading was like, I've worked with a few different women, and it's just strictly my girlfriend Chrissy and strictly you now, because you're the only person besides Chrissy who is like spot on. You're going, like, I'm going through the most challenging dynamic time, and every time you do a reading, it's always it's been amazing, and it's opened up a lot of things in me, like my own ability to read tarot, my own ability to use a pendulum. So I want to say kudos.
You use a pendulum?
I do.
Oh, when did you start using it?
After you read my pendulum.
I'm like, I thought when you had the pendulum, you're like, what's a pendulum reading? I'm like, oh, she's already got one.
No. So
it's real, eh?
Yeah. So after you did it, I was like, okay, this is really cool. All the time I've spent in like occult shops, spiritual shops, I've seen pendulums, but I was just like, oh, that's out of my realm of knowledge. So, but then when I Googled what the actual process was, I was like, well, it either works or it doesn't. So,
it's fear. Now, when you're using it, so it's actually moving for you, right?
I've lost you. Oh, goodness. Yeah. And I go to this one shop near me, the Spiritual Emporium, and it's run by a bunch of local witches. And the woman that owns it, she's always there. She gave me like a tutorial. She's like, it either, this is yes, this is no, or it can be like counterclockwise, whatever. And she's like, if your energy is low, you're bringing low energy into it. And you might like, she's, I think it's not that she follows organized witchcraft, but like she has her own thoughts on things. So for her, she was like, if it's negative, you might be attracting like evil. And I was like, well, okay, like a miscommunication. It's not spirit.
I think that could happen with anything.
Right.
So whenever you're in a low vibration or even thinking negative.
Yeah.
So when you said you had a lot of nightmares and bad dreams, so that's also attracted if we're thinking negative or if we're anxious or because negative energies, they feed off negativity, any demonic. So anytime you find you're having like a really even if you're having a really shitty day and you go have nightmares, it's actually, they're like feeding off your negativity, right? So it's projected that way. Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible how much like the positive mindset, positive manifestation, it's so simple. Like the actual, what you're doing is so simple, but it's amazing how much of a difference it makes.
Oh, just like the tiniest things. Like if you, do you meditate?
I've been better at it. I'm trying. And yes, the answer is yes, but not, it's a work in progress.
It is. I know. You know what? That's so funny because that's everybody's response, because meditating, it's not that fun.
No, it sucks.
I mean, I know. Especially if you're like, I could be doing something else right now, or, but the benefits of it are outstanding. Like when you actually keep up with it every day. Even 10 minutes, it's literally it's self-discipline, but it actually works.
Well, I did it every day for about a week, and it was before the weather went sour on us, and I was going down to Lake Ontario, and I have this really nice piece on the beach where I was just literally called there one day. I was like, I'm having a shit day. I really need to go to the lake. And I sat down on the beach, and as soon as I sat down, I started uncontrollably like crying, but I was able to meditate for the first time in my whole life, like for a full 20 minutes.
Wow. And what did you experience?
Okay, so here's the craziest thing. I was in the middle of reading this angel intuitive book, and they're like, you literally just ask, like, who's your spirit squad? Like, who's with me? Where's my team? And I asked,
who's got my back?
Like,
no, really?
Yeah. Seriously.
Were you with me today or what?
Yeah. And I was like, I just asked, like, who's my spirit squad? Do I have a guardian angel? What's my guardian angel's name? And it was crazy. The amount of like ringing in my ears I was getting. I saw like silhouettes. Like it was very abstract, but it wasn't like the sun was playing tricks on my eyes. You know what I mean? Like it was a really enlightening, calming experience. And I was like, I need to do this more. Like, this is so good for me on every level.
It's amazing. Yeah. And that's how you get like insight, right? And your answers. And everyone says, what do you mean? I don't hear anybody talking. I'm like, you know what? You've heard of the Clairs,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Psychic Clairs. So that's Clairaudience, right?
Right.
Everyone's like, I don't hear it. I don't see it. And even every medium, majority of them. And you don't see like how we see, each other, that the spirit would show up there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Children do, because they're more vulnerable.
Right.
And animals, right? They see the actual, but we see the shadow.
Yes.
And once you open your clairaudience, you'll hear you'll hear the spirit talk, especially when you're in an alpha state. Do you know the alpha state?
No, please explain.
Oh, this is exciting. So the alpha state, it's when so you're half asleep, half awake. It's a different level of consciousness. So do you ever notice, just as you're waking up, you hear like a song or like something talk in your ear, and you're kind of like you're just half asleep, half awake. So in that state is when they're able to talk to you. So you can forcibly put yourself in an alpha state, but it happens naturally when you're just waking up, or if you're just falling asleep. That's when they say when you're meditating before you fall asleep and you see the images.
Yep.
It's in your mind's eye. It's not like you're opening your eyes and you're seeing it above your bed. Because everyone's like, I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think people expect like this really Hollywood, like exact image, like a strong sound, and it's like so not like that.
No, it's not. It's you. Okay, so when you ask a question to spirit, it's, if you're lucky enough, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
And have you heard a spirit talk? You have, right?
I have, because I realize it's not my voice. It's so stupid. It takes you a minute to sort it out. Like, it's not you.
Through clairaudience, or through like the thoughts that come
through the thoughts. I haven't heard a voice. Yeah, I haven't heard a voice.
Okay, so when you do, it kind of sounds like this. It kind of like whispers in a note, because it's a different frequency. So it won't be like us talking to each other, and we're going to hear that clearly. It would be like a little like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very soft spoken, but that's when you get the ringing in your ear.
Okay.
That they're trying to talk to you at that frequency, or is when they're sending you a download and you get the thought.
Right. Mm-hmm. So crazy. And so for you, how long have you been like an actual practitioner where this is something that you make a business of, and you're really excellent at?
Thank you. So 3 years.
Wow.
Just 3 years now. Yeah.
That's great.
It just came to me, and I was at work and I was like, I am so bored. So I created
and what's your 9 to 5?
So I work in a dental office doing administration.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's yeah, but it's no.
No, you know what? So my editor and producer, and she's like my right-hand creative woman, and I think she's been on a bit of a spiritual journey this past year. She just retired from being an administrative person at a dental office. So I feel like
Yeah, so I was able to. So that's where I started. So I was able to cut my hours to part-time.
Okay, good.
Luckily, because the business is growing. But when I was doing that full 9 to 5, I was just sitting there and I was like, oh my God, like colors, like usually like clairvoyance and mediums, you're attracted to like all the pretty colors and like magical things. And I'm like, I want to be in a different world. Something pretty. I'm like, I was on Instagram, like in the bathroom, 'cause God forbid you're on your phone.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
In some place, it depends where you go and who you're with, right?
Of course.
But I was in the bathroom and I just started making like, if anyone sees my very, very initial post, or like, I don't know, it was like a cartoon, like not cartoon, kind of animated, like a big green tree for the heart chakra and a big, a pineapple. They say pineapple opens your third eye too. Oh. It was just like different things I started like putting out there.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it would turn into what it turned into, you know what I mean? It just kind of like went from there.
Yeah. That's amazing. So it was totally like, it was the universe path and you followed it, and
that's what happened. And I started it. I mean, like yourself, when you hit like rock bottom.
Yeah.
So I was coming out of like a toxic relationship, right? And when you're in a bad relationship, you're not really focusing on like your own interests, or you're not listening to it, especially if it's a toxic one.
Yeah. And I think I've read something like on your social media, you posted about like a previous partner really like shitting on the fact that you're into spiritual line stuff and into like witchcraft, and they were not supportive. And that was the same in my past relationship. It was like, it's not something we talk about. Like, this is not acceptable. Like, you're going to sound nuts.
Yeah, you're gonna sound nuts.
Yeah, I sound nuts. All right.
Yeah, right. I know. It was like it's just like, oh, it's hocus pocus. You know what I mean? Or like, you're nuts. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. And especially because there's that stigma of witchcraft, but it's not. It's what your intent is when you're using witchcraft. You know what I mean? Like, you could use it for positive intention. If you're putting like a hex on somebody, that might attract like a satanic vibe.
For sure. But that's like the big misconception, but that's like Western society of drowning or hanging or burning powerful women is demonizing them, because witchcraft is not about hexing. It's not about black magic. That's actually a totally different sect of witchcraft that neither me nor you nor anyone I associate with. I don't imagine you dabble in.
No, not at all. No. I mean, I might have thoughts about people that.
Of course, because you're a human.
Can I flip them on their back with my eyes right now?
Of course.
But and that's the thing too, is there has to be light and dark.
Yeah, but I don't want.
What's that?
Sorry, I was gonna say, like, and most witches, like, I don't want that shit coming back to me. I got stuff to do.
Oh no, it's a karmic relationship. Yeah. Like if you do some wrong to somebody, it'll come back to you. Even if you notice in your life, if you do like little things, not that you're the devil or anything, but if you do something, something where somebody did it to you, you're like, oh my God, like, what a bitch. But you're like, oh my God, I did that to somebody before. Not horrible, you know what I mean? But like something that you're like, oh my God, that's how it feels. Or somebody treats you a certain way or says something like, who do you think you are? And they're like, you did the same thing. I'm like, oh my God, that's so horrible.
Yeah, there's total shade in the witchcraft world too. Like, we got to be careful.
Oh, 100%. You gotta like protect yourself. But there's the light and dark. People think when you go into spirituality that it's all like love and light. And it is love and light. But they think it's just, you have to have a perfect balance of actually positive and negative. Because otherwise, your energy, it's not going to be balanced.
I just had goosebumps because I actually had that written down. I was like, people really want to think that spirituality is like really woo-woo and everyone's light and love. And it's like, no. I'd say 95% of us got to this place where we are as spiritual people because we were doing the shadow work. And like, we're looking, I wish it was all light and love. But that we're not here for that reason. We're healing. Like, for me, I know it's about the generational trauma that my lineage has suffered stops with me, and I'm doing the work. And I'm sure
that's exactly what it is. And I just got the spiritual chills. You know what the spiritual chills are, right?
Yeah, because I keep getting them when I talk to you, and I only get them when I talk to a few people. Because you're, it's like spiritual high fives.
Yeah. No, I said that to somebody. I don't know where I was, but it wasn't a spiritual environment. I forget where the heck I was. And I was like, the spiritual chills. They said, what, the chills? Are you sick? I was like, no. The spiritual chills. They're like, what are the spiritual chills?
Never mind.
Yeah. No,
sorry.
I don't have COVID.
I don't have a fever. It's fine.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah.
And so for you, you also incorporate automatic writing, which is, I didn't know that was part of your like tarot readings. How did that come into play?
So mediums have different sources of how they read things, right? So for me, I have like a tad of ADHD. So in order to get those messages, you have to be yeah. I guess you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I get it. Oh, yeah.
So you have to be in a complete meditative state, right?
Yeah.
So if I have somebody in front of me, like talking to them, I'm going to be interacting with them and have like all, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I need to be in like, close everything down and automatic writing. So I don't know if you've heard about it before I mentioned it. So like you get the thoughts. It automatically comes through, and I'm writing it down right away. Whatever's coming, I'm writing it. But as I'm looking at the tarot card, the thoughts are coming through. So I'm using my clairaudience ability to pick up on it. And then through your mind's eye, so that's your imagination, that's where you start seeing, like, random, like, pictures sometimes.
Right.
But I've always got the thoughts, and I started writing or typing them down like that. Yeah.
It really is quite incredible, because I think that's what differentiates you between people that do, your standard tarot reading, is I felt yours was very personal, and I had no idea you were also doing this automatic writing, because I think it was your last reading that I did with you. My granddad came through, and I had no idea that you are one that can touch base with the other side as well.
Yeah. So recently I connected with a mentor, because I still learn things too, right?
Everlong. Right.
It doesn't stop. So I'm like, I want to advance at this and actually start seeing more in my mind's eye, because tarot is not a systematic thing that you do. So it's not, a lot of them have like, this is what this card means and this is what this card means, but it's just a tool to enhance your clairvoyance. Yes. So it's whatever you feel. Let's say you see like I don't know, a duck or something, right? I don't know what I think. When you see a duck, you're like, oh my God, that duck means I'm going somewhere to a different land. Right. But somebody else sees the duck and they're like, oh, they're stuck. Like they keep, they're they're floppy, or I don't know, whatever. Everybody, you have different perceptions of things. So the same is with the tarot cards. So whatever you feel the tarot card means, then that's what it means. And you're using your other senses. You're using so like the spiritual chills, you're getting actually, like, do you ever notice if you're doing something and you have to keep moving your hair to your face or something, you have to touch your, you feel like something's, like, why did I get a random thing there? So they say that's when spirit guide is actually close to you. So if you ever ask a question and they come like, I'm like, oh, or they're kind of poking you like, stop asking me.
It's amazing. I usually get that right before I go to sleep, if I get it, and it's so strong, because I think it's like I've actually turned everything off and I'm just so vulnerable. And I've had it where I swear bugs are like falling on my forehead. Yes, that's what it is. And you're like, I'm completely still. How is my hair going like like or your blanket just like, I'm not gonna say that I've had anything like The Exorcist, where I've heard stories of it, but how your blankets come right off. But I felt like
just a little bit of a tiny, tiny pull, like, just a couple inches. But that's spirit. Yeah. That's spirit connecting with you.
Oof. I think the other part of me that I turned off because I didn't know what to do with it is I think I've always been sensitive to homes and the energies left in homes. So when I was a teenager, if I walked into a home, I could be like instantly overwhelmed, and I could tell you if something terrible happened there, if someone died, or if someone died of natural causes in the house. But I got to a point where I was starting to have, I don't even know what to call it, but like I stayed at a fire hall one time, and it used to be an old city hall with one jail cell in the basement, totally haunted, like no bones about it.
Yeah.
And and our dorm was the old hayloft, and when I went to sleep, I fell asleep on my stomach, and I should preface that there was an old story of one of the inmates hanging themselves in that cell, and it was probably from like the early 1800s. And when I went to bed, I went to sleep on my stomach, and it literally felt like someone was stepping on my back, and I was half in a dream state, half awake, but awake enough that I was like, I physically actually can't move.
You're aware.
Yeah. And it wasn't sleep paralysis because I was trying to get up and I couldn't. But yeah, I've had a lot of experiences like that. And now that I've kind of started to reawaken, I have that thing where it looks like people are like running in my peripheral, and it's just for a second. And I'm like, I know I see you.
Yeah. What do you want?
Yeah. Like
it is in your peripheral.
If you want to talk. Is that what you, did it start like that for you, or you still see that?
Through my peripheral?
Yeah.
The shadows? Oh, I still see it. Yeah.
You still see it.
I still see it. But I get my strongest messages through my dreams, like you did. So I'm like basically a dream medium.
Oh,
like,
wow.
That is because during the day,
yeah,
you got to really focus to get, like I said, you got to get in that meditative state for all those messages. But they say it's hardest to read for yourself, for anybody. It's hardest to read for yourself. We get all our messages for ourselves, but sometimes we go,
yeah,
like, is that real? Is that what it means? As opposed, because you're using your own thoughts and your own emotions, right? But if somebody else tells you, we do reading for somebody else, we're like, this is what it is. But
yeah.
We get something for ourselves in our dream, like a message. We're like, we wake up and we're like, yeah, but I don't think so. Like, because logically X, Y, Z. But I would say about 80% of my dreams come true in a different way.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's constantly. And I started drinking Mugwort.
Oh, have you?
Have you heard of it?
Oh, I have Mugwort like on my desk, but I do a lot of like candle spells, and I use Mugwort a lot, but I've never so did you just like literally buy Mugwort and you drink it? Like I don't want to chase the I don't want to chase the green fairy.
This girl eats Mugwort. No. Mugwort tea. So tea, Mugwort tea.
Okay. You can't just get that anywhere.
Not anywhere. You know what? It's like, have you heard of Buddha teas?
Mm.
Buddha teas, they have the little
notes
on their teas, a bunch of different color boxes. So a lot of places that sell it, they'll sell like every kind except Mugwort. Like there's some sort of, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like,
well, there's got to be a reason for that.
They say like it's safe enough to use, but they're saying like, oh, there's a little part of that can make you like hallucinate, but really it's opening your third eye, right? But right. You can order it online. But what I do and what I've done is buy. So you have Mugwort, the herb.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get a pot and I put like your cup of water in the pot, and then put the Mugwort in there. And then steam it, and then pour it into your mug, like to strain out the herbs, though.
Yeah.
And then drink it before you go to bed. And then tell me what happens.
I bought Mugwort from a Witchcraft store in Toronto, and it said right on the packaging, because I was like, ooh, I want to drink this. It says right on the packaging, do not consume. And I'm like, oh. But you're saying otherwise, so.
I know. I think it's fine,
Michelle said it's fine.
I think it's fine. That's my, like, nothing's happened to me. So I'm like, besides getting more vivid dreams, right?
Interesting.
But, you know, it was really funny because, yeah, it's hard to get it, but they do sell mugwort tea. You just,
have
certain
to find
places,
it.
yeah, but you can get it online. But, so I ran out of it. So I walked into, like, a metaphysical store. I'm like, do you guys have, like, mugwort tea? And she's like, well, we have mugwort. Yeah. I'm like, can I put it, like, I'm going to, for the tea, though, can I make tea with it? And they're like, I'm like, that's a good question. And they're looking at the bag themselves because nobody's ever asked.
No. I've totally, like.
And she's like, well, like, I guess that's how they make mugwort tea. They use the herb, right? I'm like, yeah, so... right? That's how tea is the tea bag with all the herbs in it. So I'm like, she's like, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. I'm like, yeah. So
we'll find out.
Had it. It's awesome.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I've got enough mugwort that I could definitely make some tea. So, giddy up.
It opens your third eye like crazy.
That's an interesting thing. Like I am the type of person that I've always had a glass of wine or two at night. And that's been something that's been totally naturally eliminated.
The wine?
Yeah. Like,
do you know what?
What?
So that she's like, she's gonna tell me now. So.
What do you know?
So, a lot of people that are spiritual or even become more spiritually awake have actually naturally, their body does not want anything unnatural in their system. And alcohol, like I wasn't by no means an alcoholic, but I would drink like yourself, like a couple drinks and, you know, like, I don't know, like once or twice a week. Like, you know, you have a couple drinks, right? And don't get me wrong, once in a blue moon, I'll still like, you know, I'll have a couple drinks. But that blocks your senses.
And it was totally like an unconscious thing. I was literally drinking my wine at night and I was like, I don't even want this. I don't want this. And it's so habitual. And I've never turned, but now I'm drinking tea all the time. And I'm
that's exactly it. And it's like, everyone's like, what are you, 80? Like, they're like, want to come drink? I'm like, I'm going to be in bed by like 11.
Totally.
And I have to have my tea so I can have my psychic dreams at good night. You can have your low vibrational hungover date tomorrow.
That's it. And that's what I think it was. I thought like, you know, I've only ever had like a glass 2 max every single night when I'm not working, of course. And, you know, by midday I was like, I can't say it was hungover, but it was really affecting my energy. And I think that was like my internal energy, my conscious energy. Like it was, yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I've heard that and I've read about it before. Like your body is literally like, like you got other shit to do. Like,
and especially if you're spiritual and it's like when you drink, I feel like things just go out of control. And it has to do with all those energies in you that are like, your energy is like, no, what are you doing to my body? What's that?
I'm sorry. You froze. I didn't mean to speak over you.
Oh.
I was going to say, how out are you? Because I really have I'd say in the last couple of episodes, I'm out to everybody about my life path, my choices. It's kind of like coming out with your sexuality in a way, being a spiritualist.
Yeah. You mean how open am I?
Yeah.
With it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, I'll tell everybody. Yeah, I don't care what environment I'm in.
Oh,
yeah,
my son's calling me. 1 second.
What's that?
Sorry, 1 second. My son's calling me. One second.
Okay. Yeah, go.
I'll just be a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweetie pie. Yes. What's up, honey? coming. Okay, sorry. My fancy backdrop.
I freaking love it. I love it.
Thank you. Oh, here I am. I'm getting you to wear your headphones, and I didn't put my headphones on. I think I'm in trouble. Oh, dear.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, I feel like we could just talk and talk and talk and talk, and I think we should definitely get together and have like a ladies' date aside
totally
from this
should.
podcast.
Yeah. For
But
real.
I like to end every podcast with my top 10 tailor-made questions. It's kind of like a speed round type thing, and I ask everybody, a spiritual person, man, woman, wrestler. So are you ready to play?
Let's play.
Okay. Name one beauty product you cannot live without.
One beauty product I cannot live without. I don't know, like cover up sometimes. I don't
Perfect.
Sure.
What is your favorite exercise?
My favorite exercise, yoga.
Ah.
Yoga, definitely yoga. Oh yeah.
And what is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve?
Yeah.
A liar.
Definitely
a liar.
Can you feel the energy shift when someone lies?
100%.
Yeah, me too.
It just it pisses me off when I know they're lying, but they're still not admitting to whatever they're doing, right? But yeah, definitely a liar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have so much I want to say on that, but I'm going to let it go. Who is your celebrity crush?
What's that?
Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh, a celebrity crush?
Yes.
I don't know. I really like Gerard Butler. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's my fave. Yeah.
Who is your favorite band or artist?
Who's my favorite band or artist? You know what? To be honest with you, I don't have one. I like so many random types of music and artists, so I don't have one. Yeah.
Okay. An eclectic. I appreciate that.
Yes.
That's me. And it's because we've had so many lives.
You know what? I had a reading with somebody once, a medium, and she asked me that. She's like, because I kind of seem like this, that. And she's like, do you have like a favorite type of music? And I said, I like everything. And she said, people that have lived a lot of lives, like you said, you have an open interest about everything.
I'm so weird. Like, I really like heavy music. I really like hip hop, but I also really, really love classical music. I played the cello for 10 years. Like, I'm all over the place. Like, I want to go to like a metal concert, but I also want to go to the orchestra. And I can only imagine there's got to be more to
that's something
that.
Definitely spiritual. Yeah, music and art.
Music and art. And that's one other thing. It probably took me up until this past year to realize that, like, I'm not crazy and emotional and weird. I'm actually just a creative person, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No. Totally accepting that. Yeah, and you're like, wow, I'm just special.
That's what it is.
Yeah. A good special.
Yes, a good special. Do you have a secret vice, like drinking a glass of wine in the shower?
Do I have a what?
A secret vice.
A secret vice? Like something.
Yeah, like
something I
drinking
do that's
wine
weird?
in the shower. Or just like secretive.
Oh, like something I do that's weird?
Yeah.
Oh. There's a lot of those, but
I hear you.
If there's one I can share, that's appropriate. It would be probably like, okay, so they say to enhance your psychic energy, you listen to music, right? So every day everyone's like, I'm always like, they're like, well, what time? I'm like, I don't know, probably 1. They're like, why don't you want to get going in the morning? And I'm like, I do this whole ritual for like 3 hours in the morning. And one of them is dancing by myself to music.
That's probably one of my favorite things to do, as silly as it is.
Really? I know. And you're just dancing in circles in the house and nobody's there and you're just...
That's how you get your energy way up. Like, that's how you get that vibration way up.